Whoa! Teammates! That could have been horrible. DJ going all the way down into the grass, flipping, coming back up into the pack, and into bubble, wrecking hard.
The 31 still on the inside, trying to get clear of Adrian. Looks like he'll be able to do that. Adrian with the switchback on the 31 on the exit of turn 4.
Is it gonna be out of his corner? Oh, Anthony's gonna shove him off the track. Chesko.
And Lions for the game. And everybody out again. And over.
He finishes in 3. So does for 1.
Side by side, it's gonna be Little Man has a wreck in the back. As is the KRE. Gonna win off turn number 4. Will win his first ever KRE race.
They just have a
Fortunately, into the wall. Right as I was saying something about someone being in the wall. Front guy, Sliders gonna make it down 4. It's but he's gonna continue.
It's gonna win.
Carmelo side by side with him now. On to turn number 9.
And welcome everybody back for the Bubbles Camping World Truck Series here for Sunday Night Showdown on MCRN. I will be your main commentator, and I will be having a very special guest here. It is your D1 top 3, in the top 3. He's won as many races as my fingers. But Corey, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Ready to watch this race tonight. Feel like it's gonna be a good one. You know, you're back at Charlotte. A lot of high speed, you know, especially with a big field like this. Everybody's gonna be on top of their toes. So I think we're in for a good one tonight.
Let's hope so, and I think it will be. We are here for the Dodge Ram 150 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is 106 laps. Hopefully the same distance as every single track. Very recently, earlier today, we raced in Michigan for the CART FedEx Championship, Michigan 500. That was won by Anthony in a very crazy and strange race. It was very strange, but regardless, still a decent race. And then Saturday we raced for the Coca-Cola 600. We raced here, and that was also a long and crazy race too, which was won by number 4. His return back, pulling off cut. Ford will actually be in this field, and let's go to Corey. Corey, give us the starting order.
Alright, but we'll go to the top. Bubble started in first place. Last season's champion. Kimi following in behind him in second. Gonna have DJ in third, followed by Anthony in fourth. A lot of speed out of him. He's had a lot of improvement left in these guys all around in the series. P5 is going to be Ford. Winner on Saturday for the Cup Series. In sixth is going to be Roger. New face. Let's see what he has for us tonight. Good starting position. Behind him is Little Man, a very, very known figure in this sport. He's out for once tonight with a very, very cool scheme wrapped up. Princey behind him. Aiden, followed by Gotcha, then Grez, Ryder, and then the last two, Chesko and Mice, and that is your field for today.
Very excited for you, especially with, and I'm going to glaze it again, that's Ford in the number 11. He's back after his 8-week suspension, so, and then he's also in a new look this time today. But another thing I want to point out is we are racing all week. Every other day we're racing the Truck Series, and then we are racing Cup Series on the other day. So tomorrow is Bubbles Cup at Twin Ring Motegi. Long, grueling race. Do we expect to maybe see that, Corey, or is it past the time you could because it's a weekday?
Yeah, it's a wild card. People got jobs. I don't feel like staying up that late. But we still got a race here tonight. And we're in for a good one.
And with the audio with these cars, you see how loud these beautiful trucks are, and you're gonna hear it for 106 laps, which I'm all for. I mean, you better love it. But I don't know if we're going green. They said green next time with a double up. Double up usually means they are, but they're just going to await the call. I can't really hype it up yet until I fully know. I doubt it. Yeah, we're not. So it is next time. But Corey, what are your picks for this race? Give me two, but give me the one, obviously in order, second and then first.
Well, for second place, I gotta go with Ford. Definitely gotta go with Ford. I mean, his late race speed, all-around speed on Saturday in the Cup Series was just something that you can't really skip over. It's not something that you can't just skip over that. That's something you got to keep in mind. That definitely carries out through all the series, and I think he's gonna have something for Bubble. Bubble's been a very well-known guy to be up in front, taking positions, leading the race, taking command. And that's what goes on to my first place pick, which is going to be Bubble. I feel like Saturday didn't go his way. The damage obviously may have put him in a position where he had to, figure out the car on the back end of the side of things. But now seeing him in the Truck Series, I feel like he's going to go ahead and he's going to try his best. And he's going to definitely rebound off of what happened on Saturday. And I feel like these guys are going to be out trying to chase him, if I had to guess. But yeah, go second, Ford, then first, and Bubble.
I'm going to go second, Little Man. I think Little Man has the speed. He's just never been able to get it done. But I think today might be one of those days. And I want to also talk about second place, Billy. Billy, this is basically the same starting order as yesterday's Cup race. So it's looking to be an exciting one for Charlotte Motor Speedway and an exciting one for MCRN. Again, you do not want to miss a thing. Stay tuned and watch this whole thing as they get ready to the restart zone. Bubble leads, Billy in second. We're green flag, back in the air. We're racing here in Charlotte.
Nice easy restart. Little free wide there between Printed, Grez, and Aiden as they go into one. Roger backing up a lot. T-Bubble takes the lead. Grez under the apron. He's siding up. Oh, and they're wrecking. They're all up into the wall. Aiden is sideways. He's got damage. We've got a car wrecked. We've got two cars with damage. Printed and Aiden. Right off the start. As soon as we got ready, Grez kind of slipped below the apron there, slid up, and then that caused a 4-wide stack up, and I think they got stuck. And then Aiden and Printed had nowhere else to go.
That's not what you want to see, unfortunately. But you can't be too aggressive, especially with these cars. It's not like Cup. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more lifting, a lot more. Not really. There's not as much braking. Or well, it's the same thing, I guess, but it's just a little bit slower, and you don't want to get stacked up like that too. So that just took out two people, and Grez. I mean, he's okay at Cup, but I think he's causing too many problems. This was a problem. This was a problem during his sports car run, which his team would go on to win the championship. But I mean, he's got to do something better. There's just you got to do better.
That was, costly mistake You're not. I mean, he's not in it, but you causing two people to get damaged. Now their race is gonna be hindered, and that puts you don't get a penalty for that, but your on track reputation with everybody else could affect your season just as much as a penalty would. And they're gonna have a red flag for the debris, and Grez is gonna have to pick up on that mistake. Looked like he had misjudged his speed going down into one, and ended up going below the apron, costed Printed and Aiden damage. See Bubble turning around to go and fix the debris. He's trying to push him off the track. Printed's gonna help out a little bit too.
Well, unfortunate start, and I mean, it didn't really take out anyone who could have been a heavy hitter. I mean, Printed had an okay type of race at Charlotte for the Cup Series, but I mean, he had to go AFK midway. I think he could have been maybe a top 5 car. Starting in the back wasn't a good look, and I don't know. I don't think it got rid of anyone who could have been somewhat decent, but I think we could possibly see what we saw Michael do for the Cup race, where he was able to stay on track with everyone. He was able to come home with a second, I don't even know, but the top 3 finish. So maybe one of those guys will have some luck, or maybe it needs to be a better guy to get that luck, or maybe it has to be something unreachable for something like that to happen.
All right, PO. Bubble, Ford actually stays out. Mice, Chesko, and Grez. So Ford, Mice, Chesko, Grez, Pitt. The rest of the field stays out.
I don't know. I mean, you're not really gaining much here. Maybe just a small tire to just take a look at. Someone who stayed out. Let's take a look at Little Man's. Little Man's. So yeah, you basically you're going in there just to get a little more. Not even 3%.
And Bubble took 4, and then maxed out his fuel. So I think.
No. Actually, he did the lowest fuel amount, and then he was able to max it out. So I mean, but would you want
all
to
these
lose all
guys.
that? Track position.
And then the risk. I mean, we don't really know how the race is gonna go. Assuming that's what these guys are thinking, you don't really know how the race is gonna turn out. Caution could wave, caution could not wave. So I think the goal is, if it does run green, these guys are gonna have that slight bit of tire advantage. But I think everybody's gonna still be pitting around that same range. But I think Bubble's goal and everybody else's pit goal is, when everybody eventually comes down, if it runs green, when everybody comes down, these guys are going to have that overcut. It gives them a little bit more length into the race. There's a lot of possibilities, but, we'll have to see how it plays out for them. Because I think Grez took no fuel. He's already down 0.8.
Going on to what you're saying on another reason, I think lap 1 kind of said and showed it. I mean, hopefully, obviously there's going to be points during the race where not much happens, but it's like, that kind of shows what these drivers are willing to do, and lap 1 is crazy. It was crazy in the Coca-Cola 600, so I wouldn't be surprised. But now that Michael's all the way in the back, he's been a pretty chaotic driver in the most recent races. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets mad at him. But again, anything can happen, like you said. So we'll see.
They doubled up. DJ, Billy, Anthony, Lil Man, Ford, Roger, Ryder, Bubble, Gotcha, Mice, Francesco, Aiden, Grez, that printed. Only 2 cars with damage. And that, hopefully we stay that way. But obviously chances for more cautions. Rogers having some issues on the top lane. I think he's trying to get everything sorted. He's back up.
As we get ready for the restart here, the first restart of the day. We've had 1 caution so far. Let's keep it that way for a couple laps. Off of turn number 4, slowly approaching the restart zone, creeping very near. We are green flag back in the air. DJ leads us, or leads Billy, Anthony, Ford, and Little Man coming into turn 1.
It's a nice restart off of DJ. Got clear of the outside lanes. Going to give him some free will down into turn 1. It gets nice and easy close to the apron. No issues in the back. You see Printed and Aiden starting to drop back because of the damage. And here comes Ford. Nice and easy off turn 2. Gets right to the side of Anthony. He's going to side drop him a little bit. Come down below him and be side by side as they go down to turn 3. He's going to try and make a move on DJ. He's going to get to the inside. DJ kind of stepped out there. And Ford to the lead going down into turn 3.
They're almost 3 wide there with Ford, Anthony, and DJ. And Michael hasn't moved up many spots, or actually he's moved up 1. He's staying decently behind Ryder right now, as the little stack up there with Anthony, DJ, and Little Man. And almost 3 wide, I think 3 wide even. They're battling. They're just trying to get situated.
Anthony got way out to the lead, then started to back up off of 2. Now side by side for lead. See Anthony driving hard down into turn 3. He's going to clear DJ. Real good clear. Is he going to stick it off 4? He will. So that puts Anthony out into the lead. See Ford coming off 4. We got 2 pitters in the back. We got Mice and Grez pitting. We're going to see what that strategy turns out to be. They might have a DTP, I think is what I saw from before. But side by side for second, Anthony is loving this. You see Bubble up a lot of positions, down up into P4, chasing down that battle for second, both Ford and DJ. Low Man, the Fortune brothers for 4th right now.
Honestly, and luckily a lot more calmer than anything. They're single filed out while Michael runs that high line, doing what he did and where he left off back in Charlotte. But from what I heard in practice was that the cup lane and the line to run at Cup is not supposed to work here. So what Michael is doing, I don't know. But I guess we'll see in the later races the later bit of the races. They almost go 3 wide, and there's Ford now trying to make a move on Anthony for the lead. He's staying side by side with him. Can he clear him coming off of turn number 4? Turn number 3, he does. Ford takes the lead, and but here comes DJ. Keeping it nice and calm. DJ going under on the apron, under the white line. Keeping it clean though. Ford tries to go high now. He's squeezed from DJ. Here comes Little Man. Little Man going with Anthony. Anthony taking the lead there. 4 wide, and Little Man into the wall. He's going to try to save it, but they might cause a big one. Wrecking already. That's Gotcha in the back, and Gotcha wrecks into the wall, and that'll be the second caution of the day on lap number 9.
Big wreck for Gotcha. Very unfortunate too. Just a hard racing. Back to what you said, Marcus. Guys, just not a lot of patience right now in the field. You can see them all starting to get stacked up. Once they get to a certain spot, their goal is to be able to grab that position. And you saw it right there. The patience was just not there in the field, and Gotcha unfortunately got the bad end of the stick. Not sure if that was, you know, just a miscommunication, mistake off of Lil Man, but it definitely did cause Gotcha. They almost had it saved, and I do have to give them props for that, but you know, patience has got to be there. Still have 90 something laps up the race, so these guys have got to be good.
Not very good, but Little Man drive through penalty as he should, which is a good thing on race control. Race control has been a little bit strange on some calls, but they were able to make most calls, luckily. But as pits will be open very soon. There it is, pits are open, and with that we will go on a short intermission. Again, you won't miss a thing. We'll be back. We are back now, and from that thing, it is Anthony and Billy who lead. I think Anthony's still. Everyone at Tampa Pit Road, which I guess now you've lost a little bit more fuel, more tires, and this that would have been the right call. But let's hope we don't see cautions, because that'd be amazing if we don't see that anymore. Like, just toned down. I think we need to be a little calmer, and I think hopefully that
got a lot of time.
Show. Yeah, and people will learn. You'll learn increasingly throughout the race, and let's hope that was it. But get ready to go to the green flag. There's still a lot more racing to go. Gotcha all the way in the back. He will be good, but we're green flag. Anthony leads us, and with a huge jump too, and the caution's still okay. There it is, green flag now.
Anthony had a really good restart, got clear of the outside lane. Gonna be just like DJ, gonna give him a lot of free will down into turn one. He's gonna grab the bottom. Little Man's gonna try and get as far out as he can to be able to get clear of Billy, to be able to get a good drive through. He's gotta be able to serve his time without losing as much time, especially not being able to go a lap down. See him starting to lose a little bit of speed down the back straightaway. They're gonna be side by side into 3 for second. Anthony pulled a decent gap. It looks like Little Man's gonna be coming down for it this time, which he will. And everybody second, third, fourth will slide in.
Staying mostly single file, but the only double file or side-by-side battle is in the back, and with Ford and DJ. Ford wanting to take that position, he will. You'll sense it. He sends it a little bit low, and he will take that third place position. But I do think it has got a little bit more calmer. I don't want to jinx myself there, but it's not. It doesn't look like how it was.
Yeah, most definitely. They started to figure it out as we say that. Roger gets in the wall. He's trying to come down, and he almost took one with him. That was Ryder that he made contact with, but he's going to slide back in. He's going to be way behind in Grez. He's going to be way behind Grez back, and I believe that's going to be 11th place. That's going to be 11th place. That's Ford. He's going to get third, and Billy has chased down Anthony for the lead. You're going to see that battle get up and bubble around the outside of DJ. That's going to be for the 4th place position. He's going to try and grab Ford as well. Will this work? He's going to be nice and tight next to the wall. Ford's going to get nice and close to side draft, but the speed off corner exit for Bubble is just too much, and Bubble will clear for third. Anthony, Billy, and Bubble will now make your top three, and Bubble is making that outside goal.
And we've talked about the noise and the sound of these beautiful cars. We're going to go on board with DJ for a couple of laps. No commentary. You'll just hear these beautiful, beautiful noises. You heard it there. That was beautiful for a couple of laps, and you saw that 3 wide action, and Ford's going to try to send it 3 wide and make it 3 wide again. A caution is out. Oh, it's gotcha again, and he is DNF'd now, having the max damage he could.
Huge damage.
Man.
Gotta see what happened there. That must have been really bad. Got suspension on the right front, and that guy could not see out of his front windshield, but he's going to pull it down to the apron, and that will finish off his day. Bubble in the lead, Ford, and then Anthony for top 3 off of that caution.
You know, Robert / Violet, whatever you want to call him, he's like, he hasn't had the best resume in this league, with a bunch of problems, a bunch of DNFs, and he's got a couple solid starts and starting positions, but he's not able to, you know, like he's not able to do more. I haven't seen him do anything in any series he's raced in.
Yeah, you know, the time, I do have to acknowledge his, you know, will to fight and never, you know, quit. You know, as much as bad luck he runs into, he's always still continuing to strive and race. So you got to give it to him. The Bubble first out of his pit box. Nice. Interesting call. Took the 2 tires. Didn't take much fuel. He's going to go to the lead, but he's going to have a lot of guys behind him on 4 tires with him on 2. It's a 3 wide exit between Aiden, Merman, and Prince, and Aiden got the best of it. Merman follows in the middle of that, and Prince got last out of that 3 wide. I don't know, Marcus, what do you think about Meiss's strategy? He came down for the 2 tires.
I think he's going to be eaten alive. As I was talking about with the cup race, when someone was there, the Jaws music would happen. There is the loudest bit of music that is going through his ear, with Michael behind him, with Ford, and then Billy too. Billy's been super fast. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see, but also another one I want to mention is, I believe that's Grez. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's Grez, who was in 1st place, or, well, actually, no, 2nd place, I guess. So, we'll see what happens to both of them. I just don't know if they are lead material currently, but we'll see.
Race Control gave us a TTT.
Corey, I'm going to give you this restart.
Grez, Mice side by side, Bubble, Ford in behind them. Coming up to the restart zone. Every driver on their toes. We are in the restart zone and we are going. Mice gets a really good restart. He's going to be able to clear way before the start-finish line. He gets clear. That two-tire call is going to save him for now. We're 3 wide in the back, 3 by 3 in the back. They'll sort it out. Mice leads down into turn 1.
All keeping it pretty clean with Mice, as not what I expected, having that jump. But will he keep the jump? But probably not. Michael and Grez having a huge run. Grez will take the lead, and Ford's going to go with Michael. Ford might go past him. No, he's going to stay with him. Now, side or near each other. Maybe 3 wide if Ford can possibly make it there. He will. 3 wide for the lead. Ford, Michael, and Grez. But Ford will lead this lap.
What a move from Ford to take the lead. Bubble's going to slide in the second. Grez will fall to third. We see the strategy for Mice, the two-tire call, not working out for him. Dropped 3 spots in less than a lap. He had to check up really hard off of 2. And now he's going to be swallowed. See Billy on the outside of 3 wide right now. Anthony squished between Ryder and Billy. Billy will clear. That leaves Anthony and Ryder to settle it by themselves. That outside lane starting to prevail. But Ford and Bubble starting to pull away. They're both going to run the top. Ford going to try and take that line away from him a little bit. You see Bubble starting to get a little tight. Ford gets really tight. The dirty air doesn't seem to beat it for Bubble though. Bubble crossover to the lead. He's going to try and clear. Ford coming out heavy side draft. A push from Grez. And Bubble will take back the lead and lead that lap.
And Ford's going to want it back. This is the battle that basically we didn't see in the cup race. We should have saw it. But also Billy making the pass on Grez now, so he will go up to 3rd place. And they're kind of going slow. I don't know if he hit the wall there or just they went really slow. All 3 of them. That's Billy, Anthony, Grez, and Ryder. But it's still Ford and Michael battling side by side as Michael goes on the high lane. Who's looking to lead this lap? There's contact, but it's still Michael.
Michael had a really good lap that time. Really letting that outside work. And now he's going to pull a very big gap to Ford. Ford's going to try to follow him to that top lane. A little bit of contact between Anthony and Ryder. I believe Ryder tried to get under Anthony. Anthony just chopped his nose off. And Billy just getting below Ford, not being able to get to his corner, and a huge run from Ford. He's going to take it to the inside. Bubble trying to block. He blocks him down to the 2nd lane. They're going to bring it back up to the top. They're going to be side by side into 3. Heavy braking from Ford. He's going to try and bring it down to the bottom. Let's see how this outside works for Michael. Can he clear? Ford heavy on the gas. He's going to try a slide job. He's going to try and park it in front of Bubble, but he puts himself in the wall. He's slow in front of the entire field, and he's coming into the racing line. Everybody going around Ford, and everything is starting to fall apart. Michael will stay in the lead. Billy gets 2nd, and Anthony 3rd.
A little contact there from his Snowman Schemes teammate. I don't even know if Ford is a Snowman Schemes driver anymore, but talk about the lead. Billy is one of the fastest. It's 1 and 2. That's your starting grid and starting order from the start of the race. But Billy is back up where he technically belongs.
Billy putting in the work right now. See, different line that we just saw that time. He tries to break a little early, and I think it's working. Look at that line. He gets right up behind Michael, and he's gonna try. I think he's gonna try that a little bit more. He tries to break it really early on entry, roll it through the center, and put it right up behind the car in front of him. This time he's gonna try bottom. See Anthony and Ryder trying to work the bottom as well. Ford trying something in the back on the top lane. Michael just letting that outside work. It's just working so well for him right now. And that run is going to grow a big gap between him and Billy. See 3 wide between DJ, Ford, and Lil Man. Ford just falling backwards. Nothing is going right for him right now ever since he hit that wall. Lil Man will get by. Ford's going to cross over. Going to make it 3 wide. They got a 3 wide battle. Billy, we got multiple battles happening right now for 1st, 3rd, and 5th. 3 wide. Michael's still in the lead.
Now there's 2 things in life that you do not want to see. You don't want to see divorce papers in your wife's drawer and Michael on the high lane, because when he gets there, he runs away with it, and he's been Ryder into the wall. Ryder! Oh no!
Yes, better. Anthony to the inside. He's got damage, both front and back. Oh, Ryder spins. Ryder's got damage too. We've got 2 damaged cars, and he's gonna come back up the track, and he's gonna collect.
Oh my gosh!
Huge hit for Ryder. Everybody slowing it down to pacing speed. That was a big wreck. Ryder had got off the wall. I believe Anthony just left. That's unfortunate. And what pace those 2 had was just a simple mistake. Put them both out of the race. I believe Ryder hit the wall off of 2, came down. Anthony got collected, and then I think there was some contact between Ryder and Ford that put Ryder into the inside wall, causing him to have front and back end damage. And I believe Anthony just forfeited.
I think that's a reasonable reaction. It's, man, the speed they both had. And Ryder's going to get a drafting penalty on top of that. I mean, essentially, that sucks for Ryder, too. He unfortunately caused that, and he's going to get payback from it. He got payback from it. I actually didn't catch what had happened with Ryder. Like, I just see him in the next second turn get spun by Ford. Or I don't know if it was Ford who did anything. Was it?
You know, he scrubbed the wall and slowed down, and then what happened? He collected Anthony spun, and I think he tried to come back up. I believe he tried to rejoin. I don't think he saw Ford, and then him and Ford had made contact, and he had spun. I don't know. I didn't see that part either, but that's what I'm seeing because I saw Ford make contact with him. But,
yeah.
You know, all I know is that he has damage, and he's gonna have to pick that 30 second repair.
I saw the initial wreck, the Anthony, when he hit the wall, and then I didn't see what happened to Ryder after, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, because Ford and DJ's been kind of having major contact with each other, door banging each other, and I think that's what we saw, and that's what kind of caused Ryder to get spun there. I'm not totally blaming them, but I think, yeah, Ryder should have go up at a bad time.
Alright, pit stops. Everybody comes down. Billy first in the box, Chesko, DJ, Grez. Ryder looking for his box. Ryder gets in. Low man granted. Ford, Bubble, Aiden. Last two, Mice and Roger. Billy's out. Seems like it was a four-tower call. See where Bubble goes. Bubble's going to get out ahead of everybody. He's going to go Bubble, Ford, Billy. Battle for fourth out of pits. It's going to be Lil Man wins that battle. Then DJ, Chesko, Mice, Aiden, Printed, then Roger, and then after Roger, follow Ryder. Again, I'd love to see how Ryder is able to race with that, knowing the detriments it has to your car. But it seems like they've cut it off, and he's gonna get ready to go soon. I don't know. We've got We've got 7, 8 cars with no damage. Marcus, do you think that number increases?
For sure. I think people are going to get way more crazier, and it's not going to end well. You just better hope it's not any of the heavy hitters again. Again, that was Anthony who had got hit. Then there was Ryder too. Ryder, I mean, could have been. He's like in the middle of where that is. Just unfortunate though. You hope you don't see any more, but I mean, anything can happen. So we'll still see him. We still got a lot of racing to go, so we're not done yet.
We're definitely not done yet. I don't know.
Come on now. We're not even started. We're going about 100. And DJ gets to drive through.
Oh, DJ DTP.
That's well deserved. You don't want to see any more of that. As we're green flag back in the air. Michael with the jump with Ford, but Ford is going to go low under Michael, who's going to try to with Billy behind. And he's gonna
good jump.
Go on.
The good jump from Michael. Sorry, both there was under the apron there for a second. See Michael going way down to the apron to break the draft. And he's gonna come back up to the top. Ford didn't even seem to want to chase. Pretty smart move, I would say. You know, keep yourself. You know, don't worry. Don't focus on him too much. See, Michael goes right back to that top lane where he sits the best. And we've got contact with Roger under DJ. I don't think he knew that he was taking that drafting penalty. And he tried to get under him, I believe, before the corner. And DJ was trying to get down him. I believe Ryder has some sort of penalty hitting. But Michael's still in the lead. Battle for fourth place position right now between Lil Man and Grens. Battle for turn up.
And Ford's letting Michael pull away so much more than he had. And now that Billy and Ford are battling, that's letting him pull away even more. And to be fair, Billy might be faster than Ford, especially with that line he found out. Currently Ford in the preferred lane right now, but I'm pretty sure that Billy might be a little faster. As I say that, he drops back.
Ford put for second, Lowman in third. Now that drive-through penalty that Lowman had, he's definitely rebounded, I would say. Now coming in third, he's trying to chase down Ford. Michael has pulled a impressive gap to second, which on Ford, and Lowman and Billy had a good turn too. They're gonna close up on Ford. Now it's either you work together or you understand who has the better pace. In racing, there comes you know, the give and take method. If Ford is, you know, slower than Lowman, they should work together, you know, put up some sort of idea on how to catch Michael. As you saw, Ford almost got on the wall there, but I believe that Lowman has slight better pace advantage than Ford, but we'll have to see how that turns out for the next couple of laps. But right now I do see Lowman closing a decent amount. You see Ford runs down bottom, Lowman trying to stay a little bit higher to avoid his dirty air. We've got contact between Chesko and Perez in the back. They're kind of riding each other, but Michael still pulling away in the lead.
And it stayed single file for the most part, but Michael's still running his line. He's gonna be running it good. I mean, Michael's one of the only people to even stay remotely close and get even closer to that wall. I'm surprised no one else has been able to conquer that type of racing, because that's what most of these tracks are gonna be and have been, especially in the truck series, where it's mostly full throttle. And even then, same with the Cup series, they this new technology, new everything coming in every other week, every single month. So you got to learn and adapt, and definitely you got to adapt as soon as Michael does.
He's just putting that top lane to work right now. Ford 3/10 faster than him that lap, but I think this lap, I think he might have pulled a little bit. They're starting to catch on Ryder with that damage. Ryder really slow as hell. Michael will be able to figure that out, but I believe Ryder's just going to let him by, which does look like he is going to. Ford and Lowman seem working together, but right now, single file spaced out. Billy's starting to back up from Lowman and Ford, so it's just those two trying to figure out how to catch Michael. Michael gets around Ryder. Ryder's going to stay on bottom as he's got two more B-Lap cars coming. As he goes right back to the top lane, I think he'll stay top. Try over, and yes he will. But still, Michael in the lead. Ford and Lowman, I think, caught a little bit since we last checked on that gap. Down into turn one. I don't know. I don't think those guys have a lot left for bubble. That top lane is working really well right now. You know, they say nobody's taking that initiative to try and move to the top lane. They've kind of all stayed bottom.
You really have.
Kind of interesting.
You would have thought that someone would try to copy that lane. I mean, it's working for Michael, so why doesn't anyone else try? I mean, possibly saving, but I don't think anyone really is saving. So it's very strange for what is going inside of these other drivers' head. But I think someone should start trying to do whatever he can, because you're only gonna ever have so much longer.
Yeah, and I'm watching him. He has so much rotation mid-corner. You know, he drives it in very, he's tapping the gas as he goes in. Turn one at least, and then down into turn three, he's fully off the gas, but he just gets so much rotation mid-corner. And the line is, you know, showing the pros. Not much of cons yet. I believe Ford did catch a little bit. I think he caught 2/10, caught another 10th that lap. So I believe, you know, it was working before, but I think now he sees he drops to the bottom. You know, he's gonna have to start looking for different things. It's kind of hard to tell who has the faster car right now, but I believe Michael did pull a little bit off the two that time, and Billy closed the gap back to Lowman. To second, third, and fourth, but all evenly spread out between each other.
And as we take a look, we are going to see the gap close. Hopefully, let's see the gap close. We're going to go on board with Little Man. You get 3 free laps with no commentary. As we come back from that, again, beautiful, beautiful noises. I can't get over them, but Little Man had made the move on Ford, and Ford had fallen back. I don't know if he's saving now, but he's definitely fallen back a lot.
A little bit of word from the team from the Ford car out in the lead. Seems like they've got a little bit of a save strategy going. I can see it myself a little bit here up from the booth, looking at all the data. See heavy lifting down into one. He was lifting way before he hit the markers. So Michael on a save strategy, trying to save some fuel and tires. Little Man Billy caught in a lot of time. They're now under the 10th range, and as you said, Ford's way back. His tires a little bit burnt out compared to the guys up ahead of him. You know, I think they think he's a little bit closer on Billy's end than he is to both first and second. But, you know, his tires have been burnt out pretty badly. And Little Man really have closed down that gap. You see heavy off of the gas on Ford. Little Man's going to have a big run on Michael. He's going to go to the inside and be side by side for the lead. And this is going to be the pass for the lead. Can he get it done? See Michael trying to fight around the outside. Can he get it done? Michael still holding his ground up top. He's going to clear. Little Man's going to slide him behind. Then battling down into turn one is going to allow Billy to close. But now we've got a pretty heated battle for the lead right now. 3 cars starting to become under a blanket.
Is Michael still saving even after? Or was he doing it during?
I'm not sure now. I mean, he was saving when we came back, and he was saving when we were gone. But his tires are not really showing that, as well as his, his fuel. He's close. He's got more fuel than second and third, I believe. Yeah, he's got more fuel than second and third, but his tires are not showing it.
Oh, caution's out.
And
A big wreck, I think. I don't know. That was a weird.
Oh, hard crash into 3. He's out.
Oh. Okay, that's what had happened. Massive lag that I just had. And
yeah.
Anything that happened? Did you see?
I didn't see. I just felt the lag and then the caution. It must have been a really hard wreck. They got debris scattered in 3. He's trying to get it going. But Aiden's going to be out with suspension damage. And So it looks like we'll regroup the field again. Aiden's going to bring it down. He's going to be DNF'd. And then we've got 2 more coming around. That was pretty weird. Must have been a pretty bad crash because the debris scattered all over the apron. Yeah, Michael has the lead. Billy in second. Billy in third. Ford, I would say, got lucked out with that caution. It seemed like he was struggling on the back end of that run. So this will give him a second chance to figure out, change some things that they might have done in that previous stint. Well, we've still got one more pit stop.
One more pit stop from the green flag pit stop?
Yeah, one more green flag pit stop. They should, I don't know. We'll have to see. Michael, fast slap. There we go. 4.
Well, with that and with the pit stops, Super DNF, we've got 3 DNFs, 11 cars left. Still a lot more racing to come, but you will not miss a thing. We'll have a short intermission real quick. And with whatever just happened, Michael just had a double pit. He hit into Princeton, and he's going to be all the way to the back.
Gonna change up a lot of things. Michael's gonna have to try and drive his way through the field now. A little bit of driver comments while we were under that caution. Obviously Michael, 4 cars feeling really good up on the top lane. Doesn't seem like they're gonna be leading that line. Says the best thing they can do right now is staying off of that wall, which they've been doing really good with, being consistent and staying off of that wall. Everybody else, they're trying to, there's a little bit of worry, everybody else trying to get up. You see everybody else trying to get up to that wall. They just can't do it as well as the 4 car can. I'm starting to get some shadows of the 5 car back in 2022. That was scary. But yeah, Michael doing it better than anybody else right now. And that double pit is going to hurt him. He's going to slide in last, and we've got GTT. So we're going to see how this restart goes. Ford will get us to the restart this time.
So bad. That sucks. But
But I mean, you give him the outside, and he'll probably just drive around everything.
we'll see. We'll see it.
Yeah.
We'll see it here, and we're gonna see how long it takes. Lap 45 restarting to lap 46. Corey, you take the restart.
Ford, Grez, Chesco, Billy, Printed, DJ, Lil Man, Roger, Mice, and then Michael. It's the starting. Ford, Grez enter the restart zone. Grez goes. He's going to get a really good jump on Ford. Ford didn't get much of the reaction time. He's going to clear before the start-finish line. We're back green. See a little bit of shuffling. Lil Man trying to find his way through. See DJ coming down the block. Lil Man's run. Printed already stepping out of line with that damage. Going to be slow. Chesco under the apron down into 1. Seems like he's going to back off. But Grez, free wheel down into turn 1 and 2. He's going to be clear. But a good drive off from 2. Here comes Ford and Billy. Billy and Ford, huge run. Grez already looking to block. They're 3 wide. Everybody trying to sort it out back there. Ford looks like he's going to stay top of Grez. Grez trying to hold him. Ford way up top. Can he hold it? He's going to hold it. He's going to go around the outside. They're going to sandwich him. Oh, and Grez almost gets turned. They're going to be side by side between Ford and Billy. And here comes Michael. He got clear, little man.
Oh my gosh. Michael already up to 5th place, going to 4th place, with Ford running that high lane now. And Billy leads with Billy trying to block, and Billy at the wall. Oh no! That's gonna slow almost half of them down. That's gonna allow Grez to catch up just a little bit more. But DJ and Billy still side by side with each other coming into turn number 3. They're on the high lane, so I think more people are starting to do some sort of high lane strat, and there's Michael on Ford. So Michael already back into 3rd place. He's looking for the lead.
See how Michael drives up to the lead, but now he's going to clear Ford. Ford didn't have much of an exit off of 4. Now down into 1. Huge throw in by Michael. He gets clear of DJ just before the center of the corner. He's going to park it in front of him, get clear. And now he's going to try and chase down Billy. He had an even exit because of that push he had got from DJ. And DJ's going to fall back a little bit. Now Michael, let's see if he can get him before the start finish line. He drives it in again. He gets to his inside. Just barely fits. DJ, Ford, and all of them have fell back. And side by side for the lead. Michael's going to clear. And to the lead in less than 2 laps. He started last of that restart, and now he's in the lead. But Billy's not going to give nothing up yet. He's going to try to get to the inside. He will get to the inside. Michael goes straight back to that top lane. Let's see if Billy can make something work. He's going to hug the white line. Here he comes. Michael got out the gas there. He let him go. He says, you know what, I'm not going to try and fight you off exit. And he's going to let him go. But that's going to bring DJ and Lil Man back into the picture. You see Michael getting ready to block down into turn 3. A push from DJ to the corner. A huge send from Bubble. Almost up to the wall. Just barely stays off the wall. Billy has to check up. DJ, here he comes. They're going to be 3 wide. DJ gets shoved on the outside. They're going to be side by side between DJ, Michael, and 4 cars under a blanket for the lead.
I am so surprised on how the hell he just kept that going. If you were looking what I saw on that TV cam, he practically touched it. I thought he touched it. They're 3 wide now. Little Man, DJ, and Michael, the 2 fortunes. Now, 1 and 2, but that's nothing to say. There's still DJ and Billy still right there trying to at least spoil the party. But Michael will remain in the lead. But take a look also, that's Mice who comes into the top 5. Now it's the battle of the fortunes, 1 and 2.
Mice, he's had a questionable start in KRE, but he is starting to make his mark. Lil Man putting the challenge to Michael. Michael throws it heavy into turn 1. He's going to actually keep it sticking. He's going to clear Lil Man off the 2 here. Just barely. Lil Man makes a little bit of contact with his corner pedal. He's going to stay clear, maybe side by side. You see DJ side drafting Lil Man falling back. It's a little bit of a train passing around his outside, but Michael made that outside work. We're starting to see a little bit of a different strategy. Starting to drive it in a little bit harder to be able to rotate. But Michael out to the lead. Will he hit the wall? No, he won't, but he had to get out the gas. Here comes DJ. Everybody's here. Mice trying to get into the picture. Ford, everybody else behind. If a caution does come out, these guys, if they wreck, they will be in the spot to take all those positions. You see a little bit of contact between DJ and Michael. Michael tried to come up and block. Lil Man to the inside. DJ's going to have a slight run off of 2 here if he doesn't hit the wall. I think he might have got out the gas, but Lil Man to his inside. Michael's liking this. They're side by side, side after each other, slowing each other behind. And he's going to try and cover both lanes, like the outside on the straights, and he's going to try the outside in the corners. But I don't know. Will Lil Man be able to wrap his bottom? He won't. And look at that rotation that Michael gets. He's going to stay clear. DJ had the slope off exit, a little bit of contact. 3 wide for 3rd. Michael still holds the lead.
They stay almost 3 wide, but DJ knows better, especially with how this racing has been going. They are not holding back the punches, but they are staying at least a decent, a little bit more closer to Michael than how they were before. And that could be, I don't know if draft is lowered at all or if draft is up. So, I mean, I don't know. But regardless, they are maybe learning something. They're not learning it well. They still got a lot of time, but time is ticking. So that time could and will go by really, really fast as Little Man starts pulling away from this main pack and starts chasing down. Dead eyes on Michael.
Michael, he's driven away. Oh, and he's going to actually put in the wall there. That time, the consistency, you know, just a little tad mistake. That's going to put him in the wall. He's going to drop down to the apron, let everybody by. See if we're going to try and pick up a little bit of draft or whatever he can from the back of the 4 car. But Lil Man now is going to be in Michael's spot. He's going to be way ahead of the pack. And that mistake, those are the type of mistakes you don't want to see. The tires very weak when they rub against the wall. It was 4 wide there for a second, and Ford gets the better of it. He's going to clear. So now Lil Man, DJ, Ford make your top 3. See if Michael can clear, but they've got pretty much a hornet's nest back here. Everybody trying to fight for position. See, Chesko was 3 wide on the bottom, trying to make something work of Roger. Roger staying 3 wide between Billy and Mice right now. Sliding up, let's see if they make that work. Ford slow on the top lane, trying to make it work. Michael just gets clear, and he will be back in 3rd. You see Mice shuffling. Now he's going to be back to the inside of Perez. He'll be side by side for that's going to be P5. Huge send from Roger in the back. He actually made that stick. He's going to stay to the back of Mice and off of Ford. Little Man DJ, Michael trying to chase down the lead, and Ford guys make up your top 5. Little Man single.
They are single file throughout the whole field. All 9 cars trying to do what they could as Michael goes right behind DJ, so he is caught up to him, but he's looking to make a pass on him. Now, when do you think this next pit stop window is?
This next pit stop window has to be between 70 and 80. I mean, you could run it as long as you want, but I believe if you split this stint, you've got to pit at some range between 70 and 80. I don't think staying out to the last 10 laps, letting those guys undercut you by a large margin, will even buffer you, because the overcut, you know, if you're going to try the overcut, you want to at least have a lot of laps to be able to catch those guys in the back end. But I believe if the most optimal pit lap has to be between 70 and 80, so at least you give your time, you know, you give enough time for those tires to make it to the end, and you also don't lose that much time trying to, you know, overcut. Because once you stay out too long, you know, that comes down to the point that you might as well get to the end. But right now, these guys, as Lil Man actually puts it into the wall, he's going to lose tires. The main goal right now is for those that have stayed off the wall, Marcus, I believe are the ones that are going to excel at this pit window, because the more you hit the wall, as you see from Lil Man, he's got at 70. We're going to look at some of these guys who haven't hit the wall. I believe the guy with the most tires right now is Princeton all the way in the back, but other than that, they've all got pretty much the same amount of tires. But I think in this package, Chesko that has the most tires out of everybody in the lead pack with no damage. But I don't know. We're going to have to see how it turns out, but, you know, the wall as Michael hits it too. So, you know, the more you hit the wall, the more it's going to hinder you on this pit stop.
I don't know how come Michael hasn't been making his highline work. It's been a couple of laps. I mean, he's able to catch up, but he's just not able to do that line anymore. But take a look at that second place. That's Ford for the number 11 Chevy FedEx. He's side by side with Little Man now. But also, you don't want to be side by side for too long, because take a look who's behind you. That's Michael. Maybe looking to make a move coming into turn number 3. He will into the middle. Sparks fly out of under his car. They're going to go 3 wide. Once they get off, maybe. No, Ford is going to take that lead spot, and he's going to lead this lap, but Little Man still charging.
They get exit off of Ford. He's going to get right to the outside of Ford. Bubble. Crazy. I'm speechless. What a send. Down into turn 1, and he's gonna make it work. He goes clear to the lead. What a move! He made a 3 wide deep send move, and he's gonna close up to the back of Ford. Lil Man close up to the back of Ford. I was speechless down into turn. That was crazy. And Ford's gonna try and challenge him back. Mike, is he gonna make it work? No, he had to lift out the gas, and Michael's gonna stay clear. What a move! And Michael to the lead. Lil Man side by side for second with Ford.
You know, that was crazy, and Ford even tried to do his little send to turn number 3. Of course, that did not end up working, but Michael takes the lead and will now lead, and he's probably going to extend this gap. But take a look, there's Ford making the move back on Little Man, and now both of them are going to try and chase him down.
This race is starting to heat up. You know, Ford, Lil Man are starting to show a little bit more pace to Michael. I keep saying Bubble. Gotta start showing a little bit more pace to Michael. They started to, you know, shorten that, you know, that range of, you know, that difference in time. And Michael started to work a little bit harder to get by them. Now that he's clear, he's got that clean air. We're gonna see how that number 4 machine works out in the clean air. Again, you see Lil Man struggling, getting really tight off 2. See it, and Ford with just better tires than both of them. I think Ford and Michael have way, their range of their tire difference is way more closer than it is to Lil Man. So Lil Man's gonna struggle. DJ hit the wall. He's down to 58. He's pretty low on tires, so he's probably going to be one of the early pitters. Going to look back at Grez. Grez doing good on tires, kind of equal with the leaders. Same as Roger and Chesko really low. I think he might also be, he might be the earliest one, 53. And then Mice at 59. So yeah, a lot of these guys you can check have hit the wall a decent amount of times just based off their tire wear. So we'll have to see how this pit stop strategy goes, but starting to enter that pit window, who do you think is going to pit first?
I mean, who do you think would want to pit first? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. One more stop you project, and you think, right? Correct, like one more.
Yeah, I think it just might be. I think it just might be one more. These guys have. When was our last caution? Like 46.
Yeah, like 46.
I believe, yeah, it was 46. They've made it 20 laps, and they've still got 60% left. I think they can even go to 90 if they. I think some of these guys, if they wanted to try, could try and push their pit stop a little bit later. I mean, obviously, Michael, I don't think it matters when he pits because, as long as he keeps extending that gap, I don't think an undercut or overcut can work for these guys because you're going to need a pretty big undercut if you're going to want to get back to, Michael. And even if you undercut that big, the overcut will just eat you up, especially with how these tires work. These guys have turned, after we had that caution, those guys were pretty free off of, 2. Now they've gotten, plowing tight at some points on the track. So, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how this next pit stop goes. But as the fuel starts to wind down, I believe the concern is gonna be the fuel more than it is the tires. At least for some of these guys.
We'll see that come into play very shortly. Very shortly. We still got a couple more laps. Everyone is decently spread out currently. Ford has been remaining in this 1 second little bubble to Michael, and Little Man has just been falling back. I don't know if he's hitting the wall or if those tires are starting to catch up to him, but he's not doing the best currently. I think he did hit the wall maybe a couple laps back, but regardless, everyone trying to keep it relatively clean. And yeah, I mean, if you're Michael, you better hope no caution happens, because the caution is literally one of the worst things that could happen.
Yeah, especially with the concern of if you can even make it to the end from here. A caution here could really throw a wild card into it. It might show way different strategy than what we're talking about right now. But Ford lost 4/10 that lap. It goes to show that pace. And you see the difference now between Ford and Lil Man. The tire difference, that's a 4% tire difference between Lil Man and Ford, and he's lost 2.5 seconds from what it was just a couple laps ago. And Grez has started to close in on that. So the tires definitely, you can see the difference between just 4% tires, and Grez really, really tight center of the corner. He really got out of it coming off of 4. But I believe, it's going to be hard to figure out how to capitalize on this strategy compared to the 4 car. You're going to have to wish for a mistake or something, because no matter what you do on this next stop, whether you try to undercut it or stay out as long as you can to overcut, it's not going to work. Michael has shown impressive pace so far this race, and being able to capitalize on this stop to be able to get in front of him, it's going to be quite difficult. And it's probably something everybody's thinking about right now. That's probably the goal, to get in front of this 4 car.
I mean, it's not possible. I mean, we saw that mistake a couple of times where he ran his high lane, but he's not running that high lane anymore. So he was the fastest. I think he still is the fastest on track, but he also got the fastest qualifying. So you got to think what mistake could he make on that very line he is running. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see it here. We'll see these. They are getting a lot more packed up from 4th all the way to 7th, and they are about almost a half a second away. It looks like on those last lap speed, Michael is saving from what it looks like.
Yeah.
Ford,
5-10 difference right there.
Ford making his charge to get up to there, but I mean, maybe he'll save. We see a couple more. I mean, I don't think you can really say anyone else is saving because, I mean, they're that far back. They're probably just not the fastest, but we'll see it. We'll see it here again. That's Billy coming into pit road. Oh
Ford
no, Ford. That's not gonna help him catch up to him.
I don't believe he lost tires though. Fortunate enough, because I think he was just right around Michael's tire range anyways. But you know, just the time you lose from touching the wall, that's gonna hurt him. And he was starting to close that gap too. So you said we got some early pitters. Dude, DJ first pitter. Those tires were starting to eat him alive. He's gonna be, and he's messed up. He can't find the box. Now he gets into it. So a mistake, couldn't find a box, it did not hit him. See Michael running the top in 3 and 4, and they're gonna come around to lap DJ. So if a caution were to come out now, this would really put DJ in a tough spot. So he's gonna have to chase down Michael to be able to get his lap back. See Michael back to the top lane, trying to make it work. Doing really good, especially on those old tires. Now, you would think the track would start to change, you know, the lines would start to change, but he's still making that top lane work. I think he's growing that gap to Ford.
And Michael ran a little slower. Is slower on the straightaway. I don't know if that's because of saving, and it most likely is, because Ford is going just a couple more miles per hour than him, maybe like 3 or 2. So Ford's definitely moving to try, and actually I'm going to take a look at their fuel. That's 5.8 for Ford and 5.6 for Michael. So I'm actually not sure. I mean, now that I think about it, and I'm a little slow, that it probably is draft. But even with that draft, it's not doing much, and even Michael trying to save sometimes, he's not able to catch him.
Yeah, and you know, with how late we're coming into the run, I believe saving would just, I don't see saving kind of benefiting him. If he is going to try, I don't see it benefiting him, especially with how late we're coming into the run. At this point, you might as well plan your pit lap and stick to that and commit to that pit lap. Not try to go anywhere below it, anywhere higher than it, just right on that pit lap. Because if you try and change up your pit strategy too late, you're going to end up putting yourself in a position that you don't know where you're going to be at. And, you know, Ford trying to close that gap. They pulled 7.7 seconds to third. Little man just struggling on those tires. DJ's caught to the back of him, especially on those fresh tires. He's had a recent pit stop.
Michael has gotten a little slower. I don't know how Ford had caught up to him there, but Ford is now in almost nearing sending range. But what is the smart thing to do? And I'm wondering what we're gonna see. What we're gonna see out of Ford currently. I think Michael might be saving now. Actually, I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna see if he had hit the wall or if
DJ in the wall.
If he was saved. I don't know. I think Michael's just saving, and now Ford's able to catch right back up to him. But again, we're expecting a pit stop soon from either or, so we'll see.
Fuel starting to wind down. DJ, one of our first pitters. Now Grez brings it down. We've got another one. Lil Man is next. So Lil Man from third place is going to bring it down. And that just leaves Mice, Chesko, Ford, and Michael to bring it down the pit. I believe everybody else has taken a stop and just going to lap down from that pace. But Ford side by side for the lead between Michael. He's going to be able to clear him on entry. Michael trying to cut down So Ford will take the lead. And on the better tires, better tires and fuel, he's going to take the lead. And the interesting part is the fuel. I believe, you know, depending on how much fuel you take, if people are willing to take the risk, is going to depend on, you know, your pit stop time, and that could heavily change the end of this race. So we could see somebody possibly going for one can and, you know, taking that risk. But, you know, all up to, you know, the pit stop, when you pit, and, you know, what your situation is. But, you know, one can to make it to the end is very possible, depending on where you pit at.
Now the final two pitters are now Ford and Michael, so we're still waiting on until one of them pit. So I mean, and as you were saying, like, which one could get you closer to that win, and which one could you take where you would still be able to finish the race? Because I mean, you never know. You could risk it, or you know for sure, or I mean, I don't know. There's still a lot of possibilities, but again, we're waiting to see who will pit. Mice and Chesko, by the way, out of pit road. So now it is literally only these two out on track.
Very tough to call. Michael lost a little bit of time that lap, so Ford pulled 4 tenths. These guys are going to make it around to 80. They look like they're both going to stay out a pretty decent amount. They're going to get a pretty hefty undercut from everybody else behind.
We'll see how much of a difference that makes, though, once they pit, and especially because DJ's right there. I'm not sure if it will be much, but again, we will see. That's Princeton coming into pit road, or in pit road. I don't know if he actually pit already, but he's now all the way to 10th place with Michael and Ford side by side.
So DJ with the fresh tires gonna come low, make it 3 wide. Gonna try and make it a nice, easy exchange of positions. Try not make it too long of a battle between him and the leaders, but he's gonna try and get himself clear. While they fight for first, he will get on by. DJ unlaps himself under green. Michael and Ford still side by side. See Ford trying to side drive, Michael trying to stay away from him. See Ford right up next to the door. We're gonna keep him side by side down to turn 1. Billy's gonna be next trying to lap himself. So if a caution were to come out, these guys come around and pit, it could change up everything in this race. See Billy, just missed it. Gave Michael a push, and that's gonna Ford probably be a little annoyed about that. And now Billy's gonna get on by, but see Ford follows through with it. He's gonna stay side by side with Michael. He's gonna slide up, a little bit of contact. Oh, puts him in the wall!
Oh no.
Oh no!
That's not gonna be good, but I don't know if that's a penalty. I don't think so. I think that'd be pretty. I don't know. I don't think that is. But
we'd have to see, because it was kind of confusing. I mean, he came from the bottom lane, you know, kind of kept it there.
We'll see
what happens. Don't believe it will be a penalty. Race control hasn't said anything yet. Might be something that they review after the race, but right now Ford is clear of a penalty. So, and he's really tight off Ford. He's trying to pit, and he pushed Super Soldier down into the grass. How did they sort it out? Ford is going to continue going. I believe that will definitely be something that race control looks at. But I believe he saw Michael coming down to pit, or knew he was going to come down and tried to make a late entry from the top lane. It's just very dangerous move. And he's going to stay out of 1.1 gallons. Michael's going to come down. And that's going to just help him even more, because, you know, Ford now has a slow entry because he had to, you know, he lifted so much.
yeah, no, that wasn't good. That was not a good thing to even do. You had 2 cars right behind you, and you want to do it just because your battle pit. Like that was
Yeah, very
not-
dangerous.
very dangerous and not smart driving for Ford, as we will
It's gonna
see.
just hurt him now.
Yeah, we'll see where DJ comes out, as DJ's struggling, hits the wall there, and allows Billy to make the move. And Michael is out. We're gonna actually see who the leader is.
So Michael took 2 gallons. He took two cans, maxed out his entire tank. Now, obviously Ford probably gonna take the 4 tires. I want to see if he takes the 1 or 2 can strat. We'll have to see what happens, but Michael's coming off 4. Ford now out of his box. He did take 2 cans, and yeah. Michael's gonna be clear by a long margin now. Everybody else has got a lot of work to do. Especially Ford in second.
Everyone up here in the top 4 near each other. Little Man, Grez, DJ, and Billy. Billy has a decent lead on them, but will that lead stay? And will this be it? And knowing how Michael has been, no. I think he's still able to catch up to them, and they gotta defend like hell or hope for a caution.
It's a 30. I believe it's a 32% difference on tires right now. And I'm not the smartest man, but it looks like it's going to be pretty close for everybody that pitted early, because fuel's doesn't look too right. They've still got 21 laps to go now and 11 gallons left in the tank. They've got 65% on the tires. Michael, on the other hand, who just ran 39.3, fastest of the entire race, he's 8 tenths fat. No, 1.8
Come on, Corey.
seconds faster. Yeah, 1.8 seconds faster. I'll try to do the math. 1.8 seconds faster. 1.8 seconds faster than the lead of that lap, which is absurd. I mean, that was crazy. So he's gonna run these guys down pretty fast. Now Ford is gonna have to hope, and yeah, there's a battle. Ford's gonna have to hope that he gets slowed down. But battle between Low Man, Billy, 20 laps to go left in the race.
Yeah, I think it's done for these top 4. As I mean, unless they make a pretty little barricade on Michael, I think he's still going to go to the apron and try and pass them. So there's literally nothing you can do if you're these top 4. But
He just got by Roger.
yeah, unless a caution comes out, then that's pretty much the only thing that will save him. And we've been caution free for almost 70 laps now, so I doubt, I could be wrong on that, but I doubt we're going to get another caution, so unfortunate.
See, Low Man got clear of Billy, so now he's the lead. Low Man actually on pretty good tires compared to Billy. That's going to be a pretty big difference. So Low Man's actually going to pull a decent gap to Billy. Billy's actually starting to, he's holding it pretty well with him, but I think just as the run goes on, Low Man's just going to have the advantage. He's got Ford exiting way lower than Billy, not, way less power for him. Michael down to, I believe that was 4 seconds. What is it going to be now? It's going to be 4.8. So yeah, he's closed in 4 seconds since he pitted. Just under 20 to go. 18 to go, and Grez now coming on Billy for second. We got a battle beating up for second. Low Man still leading.
And I think he's going to remain in the lead for maybe 2 laps, 3 laps, because Michael is still hunting them down. He's close to DJ, and we are 18 to go, coming to 17 to go. We are nearing the final couple. Obviously, yeah, nearing the couple laps of this race. But what will happen? Because again, anything could happen. It's not over till it's over.
Just had to mention, Michael actually lost 3 tenths that lap. compared to Lil Man in the lead. And the difference between Lil Man to Bubble is actually only 10%. Just a little bit over 10%, but 10% really on the dot is the difference between those two. So I believe whatever Lil Man did to pit, you know, it's working out now. You know, you've got that time, pretty, that difference on time pretty close to the, you know, the fastest guy on track as he closed in 4 times that lap. So, I mean, it's just a wild card at this point. You've got to really hope that he makes a lot of mistakes. You know, his consistency isn't as down pat as it was when, you know, he was back in the first early stages of the race. But right now, Michael dropped down to the apron at to see who wants to top and bring it forward. But Lil Man doing pretty good at commanding right now and holding off this lead and putting that gap to second, which is Grez. But Michael closing on DJ, see how he gets around him. So Lil Man's still in the lead.
If anything, I do agree with that. Little Man is the only one to genuinely have some sort of chance. Looking at, hold on, like 65. Grez is also 62. So these two could at least have some chance on holding up Michael, but Michael is already getting past those two immediately. So it's only a matter of time till they catch up, and we'll see what genuinely happens. Could Little Man keep this lead, or could Michael just snatch it away from him? Oh, never mind, no! Ford wrecking in the backstretch!
Oh, what? No. Huge wreck. What happened? He was running all by himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was watching the gap between Michael to Lil Man. Now that gap is like, it's not even important anymore. Huge wreck for Ford. That's going to be disappointing, especially with the speed they had. And just disappointment across that team. So the caution brings everybody back together. Lil Man, Grez, Michael, Billy, DJ, Roger, Chesapeake Mice, puts it then Ford. 10 cars remaining in the race, and I believe that's going to be 8 with no damage. Pits are open. We'll see. There's going to be, I believe it's going to be all 4 tires, but I believe somebody's going to try and step out and take 2. What you think?
Wow, though. I mean, unfortunate for Ford is actually, the good thing about Ford is Ford live streams his POV on the Just Ford 3 YouTube channel, so he hit the wall. He went too high into the wall and ended up turning himself. So he did what many drivers did in the Bubbles Cup race. So that's unfortunate. It sucks for that to happen. And now, Corey, this is 14 to go, and they're packed up.
Well, we saw what happened on the first lap and like the first 15 laps, so we're gonna see that 10 times worse than the last 15 laps. But you know. At least now it's for a purpose. You see Lil Man, 4 tires, no fuel. A lot of those guys on the same strategy. Grez gets out ahead of everybody else. So it seems like the call was the 4 tires, no fuel. Where does Mice put? You got 2x2 exiting. Billy, Lil Man, DJ, Michael, Chesko, Roger, Mice, Princeton, and then Ford around that last place. And this is going to be crazy. Everybody's going to have the same amount of tires. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And no fuel, I think, was the call for most. I don't think anybody took any fuel except for a couple. Michael did end up taking fuel. Pretty interesting, especially seeing that he, you know, I think he might have took just a splash, seeing that he had pitted not too long ago. And then the tires are full. So he's going to have the most fuel out of anybody. He's going to be cleared for 1,000 overtimes.
Well, let's hope we don't get to that, actually.
Yeah. We're hoping that we don't. We're hoping that we can run.
Yeah, never know. But now we are 13 to go, coming to 12 to go. It is Grez and Billy side by side with the newcomer Chesko, Little Man, and Michael, the man of the day. The fastest car and most likely your winner. We've got 10 cars in the field. Only one winner, and we've still got 12 laps. We're coming to the green. Green flag back in the air. Ford's going to jump into the back. But it's an almost even start from these first and second placed cars, along with Little Man and DJ. Michael has a little bit of a better start than them. So we'll see what happens coming into the backstretch. They're still side by side with Grez and Billy, but Little Man is going to try to look for the pass, but there's Michael.
To say that was a really good restart from Billy to be able to match the reaction time with this restart from Grez.
Michael into the wall!
To the corner.
Wait, what?
He's in the wall, but he does.
What the?
Slow down. That's going to be quite questionable. He's going to break to make it fair. Understandable. That was pretty weird, but he's going to get back in position. The Little Man will get second. Grez will get third. They'll be side by side between DJ and third. 3 wide between Little Man, Grez, and DJ. I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that had that reaction. That was pretty crazy, but Billy out in the lead. Can he hold it for the next 10 and a half laps? See Michael with a huge run side by side for third.
And Little Man could be one of the only people who could catch up to Billy, but Billy, remember Billy had one, and never mind! Billy spins in front of the pack, and he's gonna save it though, but that's gonna ruin him! He falls back, Little Man, and what the heck is going on?
This is crazy. Billy spins, so Little Man's gonna now take the lead. See a shot from Michael to DJ. DJ's gonna side the track, and Michael's gonna take advantage of that slowness. Grez just barely hanging around the outside. Michael gets clear of DJ. They're gonna be side by side. Grez at his corner. They're gonna be side by side still. Grez side drafting him down into turn 3. A little bit of contact between DJ and Grez for third. Little Man taking it nice and easy in the lead. Michael gets to the inside. What he won, and it almost looks like Little Man just gave it to him there. That was quite the speed from Michael, and he's clear by a lot. He's going to be clear by a ton going into one. It's going to make these guys have to chase him down really hard. 10 laps to go, just under 10 laps to go, sorry. And Little Man is after the chase. Mice having a wonderful day right now, trying to chase down third, going under third right now. Right there, beautifully. He's going to slide up right behind DJ. Little Man and DJ blocking. They're going to try and work together, but Michael out in the lead. Don't give him that top and clean air. He might just be able to run away with it. Little Man trying everything he can on the bottom right now. He's going to close up a lot to Michael. Can he do anything? Not much of a difference from speed from top to bottom. Michael, Little Man catching.
He's actually really, really close to him as they kind of pop off of Mice there. That's Chesko and DJ, so they're still relatively near each other. But Little Man looking to win his first time this season. Michael won in Phoenix and Anthony won at Daytona. They're side by side, hoping to keep it. Little Man knows that Michael cannot pull away. He cannot run that line. He has to show some pressure or else Michael will start going more. Little Man kind of shoves him up a little bit, comes up very close to the wall. You're cutting it super close. Little Man still side by side. He leads that lap. But now we're 7 to go, and Little Man is shoving him, using his tactics against, or using Michael's tactics against himself.
He's side by side for the lead. Michael with a huge run off of 2, and Little Man is after the chase. Remember, this is the guy that had a drive-through penalty at the beginning of the race. Fell back during that last stint under green. Had I would say a horrendous run under green. The tires just left in the car, was just starting to fall apart. But he is making the car work right now. He's side by side for the lead. Michael, Little Man, those are the two to watch right now.
And as they battle everyone else trying to catch up, they can still put themselves into this battle. They just really got to try, as Michael's going to get the huge run. If he can get past Little Man, he does. They're still side by side. DJ into the wall. That's going to open the door for Chesko to have a decent day again. They're side by side, Michael and Little Man coming into turn number 3. And Little Man going to shove him a little bit. but it's just going to give him the push of speed because, I mean, Michael's mad fast, but he's still staying with him, trying to break the draft, and they're going to go 5 to go. Coming into turn number 1, but Little Man has gone nowhere in these last couple of laps.
Is taking over his entire car right now. His mindset is locked in on taking Michael's lead away and taking his dominance away. Michael has shown impressive and unbelievable speed this entire race, and now Lil Man is trying to put the pressure to him. You see Michael driving in there, but Lil Man stays calm, trying to drive it under him. A little bit of heavy braking there, and Michael's just going to be able to clear him. And that's going to put a gap that might be able to settle the race. I'm not so sure. 4 laps to go. You don't want to let him get too far out ahead, but you also don't want to get into any contact. We'll have to see how Lil Man handles this gap. An unfortunate gap that he would put himself in, but I think he'll be able to close it as Michael goes back to the top. Lil Man wouldn't got him at this point. It's a game of cat and mouse. Where did you go? You don't want to follow him right behind him for that big year, but you also want to have the fastest line. You know, you gotta take a penny out. No, Michael's going to run that top lane most of the time, so keep running that bottom as it's been working for you, and he's going to stick to it. Coming up on 3 laps to go off of 4. Michael leads. Lil Man still trying to catch Chesko.
And I mean, he's kept a decent gap near it, but he was kind of pulling away there last lap on that first thing, but they are still all near each other, so one bad mistake from Michael could be the cost of his race and many others. Little Man now near him. They're side by side now. He might have just caught up just a lot more than usual, but Michael gonna lose that position now. Chesko also wants to catch more up to him, but Michael's gonna go to the inside. Side by side still, kind of a little crossover. But here comes Chesko, so now with this battle that is going on now, that is allowing for Chesko and DJ to catch super close. And they are already super close. And Michael, will this be the mistake that loses him an insane day? Little Man goes to block, but Michael stays with him. And they're side by side coming to the white. We're on turn 3, turn 4. Michael sends it in. Little Man is going to try his hardest, but also do not. There's still Chesko, so don't count him out as we're the white flag. Corey, take it away.
White flag. One more lap to go around Charlotte. Michael, Lil Man, side by side. Don't count out Chesko, waiting for the contact. If these two get together, Chesko is there for the pickings. And if Chesko gets involved, DJ is also there. Lil Man backs out off exit. Chesko shooting to the bottom. Lil Man trying to block. Chesko way down to the apron. Michael, this might just be the race. Michael clears out ahead. Chesko clear for second. Down into turn 3 and 4. There was nothing left. Lil Man tried everything. There's nothing left. They're side by side for second. Lil Man crossed him over, just barely gets second. But Michael off of 4. It's going to be a domination, and he will win in Charlotte.
And a wreck in the back. That's Grez and DJ. DJ tried to turn Grez, but DJ ended up wrecking himself. And he's not going to collect everyone.
Gonna see how race control looks at that after. But what a race for Michael. Just domination, be able to put out all these laps together, having all the speed. Definitely gonna have to see how that turned out for them. They're gonna be pretty happy about this win. Obviously a long fight for both Lil Man and Chesko. This continues going, but overall, a wonderful race. Michael, see a little bit of a bump from his brother, Lil Man. We're gonna be pretty happy with that.
Well, I mean, a good race. The winner was the fastest, I believe. He just got the Camping World bonus 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, I think he did. That's crazy.
He just got, but not much you can really say about it. Just got to the lead, he did his stuff, he put his line together, and he just went to work. obviously they did have us on our toes that last stint. You know, they did put Bowman definitely did give us a shock on that speed that he was able to put something. You know, he was able to stick with Bubble. He definitely put us on our toes. We've got Chesko. We got Chesko first up in here. Gonna see who we can get. And he's the top three. Chesko, you finished third. You know, you were waiting. You know, you were there for it if they did get together. Obviously, Lil Man had that issue off of 2 on the last lap. You were there to try and take it. You did take it. And overall, you had a really good race. You definitely, you know, got progressively better on positions as the race continued. Just, you know, give us a rundown of how it went for you and how you feel today.
You know, definitely got really lucky with that last caution. Definitely started to work up my way towards the end of that race, you know, trying to get up to P3. I think I could have had a P2, but just kind of a little bit miffed at that last pass. I mean, I get racing's racing, but going below the line just to move me up, man, I don't know. I mean, it's racing, but it is what it is. Good race, overall good finish, and Bubble pulls away in the championship again.
You currently sit top 5. You sit 5th, bottom of the top 5 right now in the points. What does this look like for you for the rest of the season?
And not looking great, because Bubble has hit Camping World bonus 2 times in a row, so yeah.
All right, Chesko, good job today. Good rebound. Finished 3rd. We're going to try and move on to some other interviews. Good luck next week, Chesko.
All right, only Little Man and Michael we're gonna get. So let's get Little Man, and then we'll do the winner.
Everybody grab Little Man. Little Man, you got us?
Yeah, I'm here.
You definitely had us those last 14 laps. I gotta tell you, you definitely had us last 14 laps. You definitely put the pace close to Bubble, who, you know, had it most of the race. You had that drive-through penalty. You know, it was a little iffy that, you know, second to last stint on the tires. Everything started to fall away a little bit. How did that caution, everything else turn out for you at the end of that race? Run us basically through your entire race and how you got where you were.
Well, the drive-through penalty was just pretty poor. Just tried to send it on the inside and misjudged the minimum speed and just went wide. And once someone was on my right rear, I just couldn't turn down anymore. So I was spinning out, and luckily I didn't get damaged, but unfortunately other people stacked up behind me. So sorry to those guys that got in a wreck early on. And then when the strategy was going on at the end of the race, I split up my stints basically about 30 to 35 laps even for both of them. So I felt like I had the better strategy. And I knew Michael was going to be running me down with fresh tires, but I was happy in that position to be defending. And then when the caution came out, you know, it's always frustrating when you're in the lead and you have a late caution because then you have to stack everybody up again, and everyone is really ambitious with their moves at the end. But I was able to get away from them, and I felt like I was actually faster than Michael at the end. I just couldn't finish the pass. But it was a good battle. I enjoyed it.
You sit 3rd. As of today's point, you sit 3rd right now. Does it look like you possibly are contending for the championship after today? Does it look like the season is promising?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I'll end up jumping Anthony, I believe, and will be 2nd. And the Camping World bonus will have Michael in a pretty good lead. But, I mean, Michael hasn't had a bad race yet. I had an unfortunate race in Phoenix and got in a wreck, and he'll have bad rounds as well. And we'll see if he can limit the damage.
All right, Lil Man, good job today. Another good rebound. Finish 2nd. You'll move on to next week.
Appreciate it.
And there.
Final one.
Michael, winner, are you there?
Yo.
Well, it was dominating fashion. You pulled out. You know, you took the race by storm. Once you got to the lead, you kind of took that top lane. Run us through your race. How did it go for you? It seemed like everything was pretty much flawless from what we saw up in the booth.
Yeah, some things could have gone better. I had some issues coming to the pack a couple of times, and then when I get by myself, I would just hit the wall, so that didn't help me a lot. But I had a lot of fun, and there's a big week ahead of us racing. And you know, I got an entire 27-point gap right now. As points just got finished, so I feel pretty comfortable. Yeah. So I'm excited to go into the next race. I believe it'll be Atlanta. That'll be another skill track. Because we got rid of the full throttle setups on the intermediates after this race. So I'm just excited to move on. I'm just ready to get to the next race, honestly.
Yeah, and you walk away with the Camping World bonus. That is now 2 weeks in a row you grab the Camping World bonus. And you currently sit, 27 points ahead of Little Man. Anything else? Pretty good race.
Yeah, I'd just say, I'm glad that everybody showed up on such short notice. And it was a really fun race. I enjoyed racing with everybody. Nobody raced me bad. Everybody raced really clean that race.
Well, good job, Michael. Back to back.
That's it.
He'll move on to next week, and that's gonna be all the interviews for now.
Corey, give your final thoughts about today.
Chaotic, but we got through it. Everybody got away with it. Had a couple of DSQs here and there, but I feel like overall we were in for what we expected. Charlotte always provides good racing, and I feel like everybody raced with good racecraft. We had a good battle to finish it off, and everybody's going to move on to next week, clear heads. And that's it for me. I enjoyed myself today.
No, yeah, it was nice having you in the booth. It was very, very fun. But thank you for that. But with that, that is the coverage, MCRN's coverage for, I can't remember the race name, but this was MCRN. We were racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Michael is your winner. Little Man tried to chase him down, but Chesko got right in the way. And unfortunately, Chesko was able to, or fortunately, Chesko was able, I don't even know. But that was it. I'm tired. We'll see you guys next time. And tomorrow, Bubbles Cup, we race again. Good night.